longer than I have. So you know how special he is. He helped me out a great deal with good advice when I did the drip irrigation last fall. So without further ado, let's welcome our wonderful Jim McDaniels.
Thank you. I said I wasn't going to say, can you hear me loud? Obviously, I can't because he's bouncing off the wall right now. A little disclaimer. I haven't been overseas for a year. But my wife was at the Thunder game. Okay, each time I have touched her, I've washed my hands. She'll be okay. Did we get this thing going?
Oh, I'm sorry, Jim. That would be nice to have that. Sorry, everybody watching.
He said a power bill, so I know I need it.
Mine has a leak. Can you fix it?
Yes. That's on slide 20. We will get to that. The question was, she has a leak in her drip irrigation. Could I fix it? No, I can't. I will show you how on slide 20. Okay. And by the way, I know you always hear that somebody told me I had to tell jokes, okay? Okay. So the only thing I can think of is, you hear this on TV all the time. Don't try this at home. You can try this at home. Okay. Oh, work, please. Oh, I forget I'm being taped, so I have to be still. Okay, some of your options, and this is kind of like first grade stuff. You have your sprinklers, the set-in-place sprinklers. You have your in-ground sprinklers. You have your ones that go along on wheels. I used to have 2 of those. They climb up trees. They water your neighbor's lawn when they go across and get off the track. We're talking about drip irrigation today, are also micro irrigation. So it has 2 names. Why do you need drip? We'll talk about that. We'll talk about a garden plan, the equipment you need. I'll give a demonstration best I can. I have arthritis, so I'm not as good as putting the Tinker toys together like I used to. And then we'll have a question session. Good water management is a proper amount at the proper time. This is what drip irrigation is all about, is saving water and saving you money. Good management saves water, like I said, reduces runoff. How many times have you seen a business that in the middle of the 110 degree weather, and it goes off in the middle of the day with the sun shining, and there goes your, how much is really hitting the ground. And then the ones that run down the gutters in front of your house, you say, well, I'd walk over and tell the neighbor. I did that one time. It was a business though, and it was a bank, and I went in and told him, I said, your sprinkler is just wasting, you're just wasting money. And so I gave them my card from OSU. And they called me and said, come and fix my sprinkler for free. I learned my lesson on that. Okay, has anybody in here taken the 40-gallon challenge? This is from OSU. Okay, write this down. You've got a piece of paper. www.40gallonchallenge.org. It just takes a minute to take this little test. It's going to ask a lot of questions, and if we can save 40 gallons a day, we're in good shape. Simple things like brushing your teeth, turn the water off. Shaving, this morning shaving, I caught myself leaving the water running in between strokes, so you don't need to do that. By leaving the water running, it makes you feel like you have to use the bathroom. So there goes another gallon or two. That's all the jokes I know. All right, I will create a garden plan. The slide I have here shows drip irrigation for the whole yard. Obviously, we're not going to be talking about that. We'll be doing a 4 by 10 today. So that'll make it kind of simple. Okay, determine your type of soil. We're all master gardeners, so we know this, but this presentation was for everybody, if you're not even a master gardener. But an easy way to tell the type of soil is fill this jar with 1/3 of dirt that you want tested, a tablespoon of soap, and fill it up with water, shake it real good, set it somewhere, and come back the next day. If you have a sandy soil, it's going to be clear, the water. If you have a loam, which hopefully all of us do, okay, at least in our raised beds, okay, you'll see a little murky stuff in there, but not much. If you have clay, it's going to be cloudy and messed up, okay. So this is an easy way to do it without sending it in to get tested. Any questions on the soil test? I used the first presentation or two I did the dirt in here and set it, I dropped it in my garage. So I don't do that anymore. Okay, when you get your drip set up, you'll need to know, how long do I need to leave it on? Depending on what you're going to be watering, vegetables, you need to go down about 1 foot, shrubs, 2 foot, trees, 3 foot or more. And does this have a corner on it? Yeah. This is the drip that we'll be talking about. That little old hole there will give you a space about this size, okay, in your garden, depending on your pressure. Okay, types of connections we want to talk about. If you have like out in our teaching garden, we have these things going up. You can actually hook your drip irrigation to that. If you have in-ground sprinklers, you can actually hook up your drip to one of your sprinklers. Some of the things that you'll need as far as equipment will be backflow device. Now, if you hook up to your sprinkler in your yard, you won't need a backflow because it already has one built in. If you're hooking up just to a faucet outside like this, you probably need a backflow. You'll need a filter and a pressure regulator. That makes your drip work perfect if you have the pressure. Now, if you have in-ground, which I'll show you, they have pressure regulators that you can just put on, hook up your drip to it, and you're Yes, ma'am.
Will a pressure regulator work on a windmill?
On a windmill, you probably don't have enough pressure, okay, to get to the pressure point that you need to drip. You know, the questions that come up is, I want to drip from a barrel, a water barrel that I have on the side of my house. Again, you're not going to have a lot of pressure, so you'll just probably have to leave the thing on all the time. Did that help you? No. This is in-ground, and this is a fancy in-ground. This is a guy that's probably watering his own yard. But just for our raised bed that we're going to have, I'll show you some pictures of mine, how I've done it. So that's a little confusing, so we'll move on. Okay, equipment. Your tubing, now imagine this in a big old roll. Comes in 50 foot, 100 foot, 150 foot. It comes with holes for your drip. And I think you can see them. I think you can see them easier on this drip than you can on the picture. The little holes, 12 foot apart. Can anybody not see the little holes in it? Okay. Matter of fact, let's just pass this around. I sanitized my hands before I came up. Okay, is there anyone in here that has not used drip irrigation or worked with drip irrigation? There's anybody that hasn't? One, two.
Does it count
So
if your
there's a
husband
few.
Does it count if your husband does it and you watch?
Well, you'll know some of the equipment. Okay, this is a tool that you'll need. This is to cut your tubing and also to bring the end of the tubings out when you put your adapters on. Well, I'll go around. Be careful, it is real sharp. Excuse the noise there. Okay, the next thing that'll come around to you is your adapters. You have straight adapters, you have L adapters, you have T adapters. And also in here is a on and off valve. Okay, some of the other equipment up here is if you want to water your pots like we do out in the garden, you'll need smaller tubing and you'll need some smaller drip delivery systems. Okay, there's your tubing. Okay, the one, excuse me. Okay, the one on the top here is the one for your in-ground sprinklers. Everybody familiar with this? This will be your in-ground. How many have in-ground sprinkler systems? Oh, a big number. Okay. What you'll be doing with the one up on the right is you'll just replace your head. Now the beauty of using this one, it has the pressure regulator built in. So once you put that on there and hook your drip to this, whenever your water system comes on, it's going to start working. Perfect. Yes, ma'am.
Do you have to do every one of the sprinkler heads on the zone with that?
No,
You
just
could
just
do
one. Now, the problem is your pressure,
Yeah.
okay? Once you use all those others, okay, it's gonna cut down on your pressure somewhat. So you'll just have to regulate how long you want it to stay on. The problem I found is that if you hook it just to one, okay, and all your others are going, that you'll have to leave it on a little longer and it might water the risers might water the others a little too much.
But if you put one of those on every one of the heads in the zone, then
Or most of them,
you'd probably get the,
yeah. And I think I've got a slide that'll kind of show you that. Okay, any questions about in-ground? Now, if you don't have in-ground, and you want to hook it to a,
Faucet.
thank you. I don't know why I can't maybe it's because I'm 79 years old. Does that have anything to do with it? No. Oh, okay. All right, your faucet, if this is coming out of your house or whatever, you just have to put an adapter on the end. I'll figure this out. And there's an adapter that you can buy, and your hose, where's the hose at? Yeah, the end of the hose would stick right in the end, and you're ready to start dripping. Now, this hose, yeah, don't stick it in there, please. Once you stick it in there, you can't get it out. You have to buy a new one of these, and you have to cut it off here, because it's made not to leak. Okay? I learned that a long time ago. You just saved me 75 cents.
Oh, okay.
The one that you would stick in here would not have the drip in it. Okay, it would be just a piece of until you got to your garden, and then you would hook your drip to that. Okay. Okay, now, I don't know, how many are gonna try to do their drip, our drip a garden in here? Is there anybody? There's one back there, one, okay, there's a few. Okay, here's what you want to do. You wanna measure your garden, all right? Now, what I've done is a 10 by 4, like I said, a 10 by 4 raised garden. You wanna draw where you're gonna have your lines, so with a pencil or whatever. Now, there's two ways of doing this with a 10 by 4. You can go one piece of tubing and just curve it all the way around. Or, like you'll see in my photos, I did with the strips. So what you'll be doing is measuring here to here times 4, then you'll have to times 2, and then you will have to count how many L's, how many T's, or in case you have to use a straight one that you'll need. And I do that because you can buy this stuff individually, or you can buy them in packs. And at the end of the presentation, I'll give you the places where you could get all your drip stuff from. So in this case, how much tubing would we need? I mean, approximately. 10 by 4. About 50 foot. Okay, how many L-shaped hookups do we need?
4.
Okay, how many T's?
you just have one water.
5, yes. Okay, very good. Okay, in this one, you don't need any hookups, okay? But what you will need is tubing without the drip, okay? Or if you have the drip, that's fine. If not, you can make your own by, well, I thought I had one out here. There's a little punch, and you just punch it in every time you want a drip. You can do it. Normally, the tubing, you okay? Normally, the tubing comes with drip that's 12 to 16 inches from the drip. But if you want it closer, it depends on what, you know, what you're growing in your garden. You can make your own by punching. Okay, here's your head cuffs again. These I don't have to hold. You can just look up there and see. There's two ways you can hook up with a faucet. You can see there's an adapter here, and then there's the other adapter that you just stick it. And with the one I've showed you, and I can send it around now, you can do this. In other words, if you had two gardens, come out that end or come out the other end. So this will do two. Yeah, okay, that's fine. All right. Any questions so far? Oh, this is the hard part. Okay. Okay. Where is the, yeah, that's the tool. Okay. Okay, for brevity, because of my arthritis, and I have to hold the microphone. Okay.
I'll hold your microphone.
Thank you. Now, there's 2 or 3 ways of doing this. Number one, they put the, okay, where's the little sack of, anybody seen that? Okay. Thought it would be up here by now. Thank you. Okay, here's a T. Here's a T. Now, in the winter, the way we started doing this, and by the way, when you hold this thing, you want to be careful because that blade is really, really sharp. You can put this in and you do it like this. Or if you have a hair dryer and you make all this indoors, like I say, it's like a Tinker Toy set. You can actually make this on your porch or inside, take it out to your garden and lay it right in there. I'm going to stop there, okay, for safety's sake. Okay, there's your first tee, and then you would be coming off here with the 10 foot, coming off here with the 3 foot or whatever, how many you had, and just start building from there. Now, if you have a hair dryer, well, you can just blow that thing like that, and it softens it up. And they have to do this precisely because, make it hard on you because you don't want these to leak. So you got maybe 6 or 8 of these things, that's hooked up. So you don't want them to leak. Another thing I've used before is I have a big jar at the house and I put real hot water in there. While I'm doing one, I stick the other one in there and it's ready to go. So you can work, even if you have arthritis like you can work around it. Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Any questions about the connections? Okay. This was a question, this is slide 20. This is the one where you fix your own, okay? If you're in, if you're in the garden and you have a bed, find out where the supplies are located, because you're gonna have to fix your own drip irrigation, okay?
You know they put A instead of R. Know where drip supplies A located in the garden.
Just a typo.
Oh, I'm sorry. We had a guy with arthritis typing this.
Spelling could have gotten
And you know who that is. Okay, if you have a break in your hose, what you can do is say the break is right here, you just cut, put a straight in there, push it together. And that fixes your leak. Now, when you're using this, you don't want to cut close to your drip, okay? Underneath there's a piece of metal that's about 1.5 inches long. And then plus you're gonna have enough room to stick your your connector in there. So don't cut closer than 3 inches to any of your drip outlets. Does that help repairing?
Yeah, except we didn't put it in, company, so I don't know where any.
You just have to go to the store and buy some equipment. It's only $50 service. Or get one of your friends in the garden to come over. I'm retired. I spent 20 years in the Air Force and retired. I spent 20 years pharmaceuticals and I retired. And I spent 20 years in that garden out there. And I'm retired. I need another hand. Okay. This is when I first tried to set my garden up. And come to find out they wanted me to do a presentation. This is years ago. And so that is supposed to have been, okay, that is supposed to have been buried, but I didn't have time before the presentation, so okay, that's the first picture. Okay, the story on this, see all that hand bit stuff in there? That was one of our cruises, okay? So we went on a cruise, and when we came back, that's what you get, okay, for going on vacation. But anyway, I like this slide because it shows you how easy. Now, these weeds, I got rid of them in an hour. And you say, how'd you work around all that tubing and stuff? Well, you just take it loose at the connections and just flip it right over in your yard. Go in there, do your weeding, and I promise you, 1 hour later, that's what it looked like. Because I had the 60-40 mixture soil. I mean, I just did that with the trowel and removed all the hemp. And how easy is it to get back? You just flip it back, hook it back together, and you're in business. Now, this is the one that I only hooked up to one sprinkler coming out of the ground. Now, there's sprinklers here, 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 and here. And I was doing 3 beds on one outlet. I was watering all day. You know, my pressure, because the other sprinklers was coming up, so I was smart enough to learn how to turn them off. Okay, so said, this is not working right. So, this is what it looks like today. In other words, there was a sprinkler here, and a sprinkler over here. I hooked all three of them up. Now it's perfect. If I decide that I'm not watering in this garden, you go down here to your valve and you just turn it off. And you still water in the other two.
Where's your water source?
It's in ground. In other words, it was a in-ground sprinkler system. And what I was talking about is these, I have these every 4 or 5 feet. Okay, and I use 3 of these to water the garden. The other 2 I had on that zone, I turned off.
So, Jim, did you install additional heads just for your beds? I mean,
No, these are underground. In other words, I didn't want these up like your regular sprinklers, so I just buried mine underground.
how do you get just the water just into your beds? How do you get the water from the faucet?
No, this is all in-ground system,
Yeah,
pop-up system, it's already there.
so you zoned it just for the.
Yeah, there's one zone, I have 8 zones in my house. And this was number 8 in the backyard. And so I had maybe, on that zone, maybe 6 sprinklers or 6 to 8 sprinklers that would pop up and do just my beds.
Yeah,
Then I had zone 7 for the yard, zone 6 for some, Now, if you have just a water faucet you hook it to, you can just go right out to your garden. You can bury that, use PVC pipe from your faucet to your garden, have it pop up like a regular sprinkler, and then hook all your stuff to it. Any other questions?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
When you run them, is there, for drip irrigation, do you have to worry about the hard freeze?
Not use, it depends. Okay, this stuff is buried, I think your in-ground systems are buried, 9 to 12 inches underground? So, here in Oklahoma, you're in pretty good shape.
Well, like, I got drip irrigation put in the front by someone who I think was the first time they did it, maybe.
Yeah.
It's just lying there on top, it's a rose bed.
Okay, what you might want to do is just undo one end, and then kind of just shake it up and be sure that the water kind of drains out,
Okay,
and that should do that for you.
okay, thanks.
Yeah, because I've got some on top of the ground also
Okay.
that I worry about. But I have an old system and it's not real, it leaks a little bit. So my water just drains out once I quit dripping.
It's probably not as fragile as PVC when it freezes.
Yeah. Yeah. Years, you'll find that you'll be changing things out. Some of your little holes will get stopped up. And I've tried cleaning them out with little pieces of wire and stuff, and never had very good luck. So you'll be changing out after a few years. It's a little more expensive, but let me tell you, you're saving money. When I first started this presentation, I think Oklahoma, just to tell you about the water problem, they were in litigation with Arkansas and Texas just over water. So, it's not, we don't think about it, we turn our faucets on, and but one of these days, it's gonna be pretty tough. And the extra equipment I showed you, the little tube, you can do about anything you want. You can water your barrels. In this case, I drilled a hole up, put one of the sprinklers on it, and when that system comes on, it fills my bird bath. Am I lazy? No, it's arthritis. Any other questions? I think we're about finished. Yeah.
He had a question. Do you still have a question?
Well, I had a question about if, in the case that you had 8 sprinkler heads on the zone,
Yeah,
and you wanted to put 4 of them on a drip,
yes.
like you said, do you have to go each time and turn off the other sprinklers?
No, you have to improvise. Okay, what I did is the 4 that I wasn't using, okay?
Right.
Okay, in my case, it was 4. There was only 7, because I used 3, okay?
And then you had 4 regular
Yeah,
pop-ups.
okay, for the next zone was the one that watered my backyard, okay? I just adjusted that to where it went over and caught what those sprinklers were doing.
Okay,
Does that make sense to you?
so you weren't using those
Yeah,
pop-up sprinklers?
yeah, you can buy a little device and just, you screw down on top of it,
Right,
just like a plug,
okay.
and I just let the backyard sprinkler hit that. It just, I just adjusted it a little bit,
Yeah.
and it covered that for me.
Well, have more pressure too, wouldn't it? That way, I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it works perfect now, I mean, matter of fact, I've got it hooked up to Alexa. I just say, I don't want my sprinkler to come on right now, but I just say, computer,
Microphone, Jim.
I just say, computer, turn on my, water station 7 for 10 minutes. And it just comes on automatically. Just I can sit in my living room and water my whole yard.
If you have a drip system on a faucet,
Yeah,
okay, between the flower bed and the faucet, do you have just, is there a special pipe or?
PVC pipe,
The hard
okay.
PVC?
Yeah, from here,
Yeah,
let's say this was PVC pipe, you would just go right, let's say this was 100-foot long PV, no holes in it,
right,
okay? Down to the ground,
right,
9 inches in the ground, you dig you a trench right up to where you're going.
right,
Okay, at least 9 inches, that way you don't have to worry about the freeze.
okay,
Cover it up, put a an L connection, put another PVC pipe to come up to the top of the ground. And when you get to the top of the ground,
okay,
screw that thing on it,
okay.
and then hook up your, good question. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Is there any remedy to prevent varmints from
Chewing on the glass.
chewing on the glass?
You know, I haven't had that trouble. I've had rabbits in the yard, I've had an ostrich.
Squirrels.
Yeah, 2. They got loose from my farm. Just one time it happened.
Jim, what was the question?
What was the?
Oh, I'm sorry, the question was,
How do you prevent the squirrels from chewing?
the squirrels from chewing. I haven't had that problem, so I've had to put nets over my garden I had a cat problem. That he thought he had a sandbox is what he thought. But I learned how to take care of that. No.
Get a dog?
Because, cats, they usually have their routine, same time every day, and, okay. I sat there in my sunroom, which looks out, and when I see him coming, Alexa, turn on zone 7. Turn on zone 5 when he got there. And it took maybe 3 times, and that was it. He never came back. That's true, a true story.
Retirement is good.
I wasn't supposed to have any jokes, but that wasn't a joke.
Jim, when you are using drip irrigation from a faucet and not from an in-ground system?
Yes, ma'am.
Once you're hooking it up, the PVC pipe is not super flexible.
No.
So that faucet is now dedicated for the season.
Unless you use a splitter.
Yeah, you use your splitters up here so you can still use your, I've got one at the house when I did years and years ago that has 4 outlets on it. and they all have a turn off of their own. So you can just adapt about anything, to be honest.
And they do have, irrigation pipe that is more flexible than that does not have holes.
Yeah,
So you can run that to where you need it.
right, and let me show you. Okay, there's your places, right? All right. E-wing irrigation is over by the air conditioning plant. York, yeah, thank you. It's on that service road. Now, why I put him first is I don't have favorites, but he's kind of my favorite because he has his stuff on the shelf that you could see when you buy it. Okay, so you can go in there and look. Okay, the other place that we actually have an account with, our OSU does, is Davis Pipe Supply. He's over off of 35. And, yeah, I think you went one time with me. Okay. Now, you have to tell him what you want. And he has to go in.
You can drill down and say, I've got to see it, I can't, and he'll take you back in the back and you can.
Oh, will he? Okay. All right, that makes them equal now. Okay. Online, all you have to do is type in drip irrigation and go crazy. I mean, they have stuff that I'm not even gonna talk about up here. So, I mean, if you really get into it, they have videos that make a better presentation than I just gave. Okay, they have everything, so go online and go crazy. And your big box store says, a limited supply. Any other questions? It's dessert time. Thank y'all.